Hello, and today we're looking at adaptation to climate change. We're going to look at flood control, coastal erosion, managed retreat, urban drainage control, and a number of things under that category. So to start with, we need to talk about why we need to adapt to climate change. So this helps us lessen the severity of the impacts of climate change, global climate change, GCC. So these are actions that we take to prepare society for extreme weather events or changes in the environment as a consequence of climate change. So the first one is flood control. So if you have increased precipitation or extreme precipitation events, this means that you are more likely to see flooding, where rising water levels can overcome the riverbanks. And this means that we need to prepare for this. So you will see a lot of work being put into creating flood banks or raising riverbanks. So canalizing it. You might see flood barriers, which are usually something like concrete or block, like a really strong, sturdy material that it can be made waterproof as well. You can get temporary barriers. And these are used to like block roads or high risk or value locations. So you might see them deployed at like quaysides or riversides as they pass through a city where they are needed to provide access to the river normally, but you would want to have some temporary barriers put in to protect the wider city in the event of a flood. These temporary barriers are typically constructed of something like metal or have a plastic sheet draped over them. They are inclined with a support behind them. They are either fixed down into ground or have weights applied to them to hold them in place. And like I say, you can have plastic sheeting applied as well to make sure that it stays as watertight as possible. This is because water is very heavy. If water rises up here, you have an incredible force of weight driving onto this barrier that needs to be supported, because remember, 1 meters cubed of water equals 1 ton of weight. So it doesn't take very much to knock walls over or things like that, so they have to be strong. A nice example of a sort of permanent flood barrier is something like the Thames Barrier. Which is designed to protect London from things like high tides and storm surges. And storm surges especially could be affected by global climate change in conjunction with sea level rise. So this is one piece of permanent engineering that is worth bearing in mind. It's a very interesting bit of engineering as well, so well worth looking up about. Next one then, coastal erosion. So coastal erosion, we have rising sea levels. And we also have increased wave energy. This is due to things like more storms due to global climate change, higher winds. These sort of events increase the wave energy. As sea levels rise, therefore you have more waves striking the upper reaches of a shore for a longer period of time. And so we might need to provide engineered sea walls. And these are usually made out of very strong materials to withstand that energy. You will often see them in sort of concave shapes. So like this kind of shape. The idea being that when waves come and strike into the concave shape, it actually reflects the energy, which helps reduce the force of the subsequent wave. So they have, they're usually made out of concrete, and they have this concave shape, or they have a gentle slope to, again, to try and help increase the strength and dissipate wave energy. So you might see them sort of this really gentle slope like this to help just dissipate that wave energy. Next one then, managed retreat. So some areas of a coastline, so let's draw a coastline here, might be really important. So it might be an urban area, like a city or something like that. Or it might have a train line that goes along the side of the road, the sea, like we have down at Dawlish Warren and Dawlish. That's the main line down to Plymouth. Other areas have limited value. They are just farmland, maybe occasional houses, things like that. Engineered sea walls are expensive. So we might put rock armor along the side here, where we just put massive boulders by the railway line coastline. We might have proper sea walls, like concrete sea walls by our urban areas, but other areas which are not so valuable, we might have to save money and make the decision to allow nature to take its course. And we would allow erosion to take place in those locations and focus our efforts on protecting areas that are more valuable to us. So we would have managed retreat to focus our efforts.